Welcome to this session on the healthcare innovation in India, understanding the NHA perspective. Uh, Today, when we look at what the National Health Authority is doing through the Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission, we are right now uh, in the middle of probably very far into one of the largest or probably the largest healthcare transformation in the world. Uh, this has been made possible by a series of policy as well as technology led initiatives led by the National Health Authority. Uh, at the same time, while many changes are happening on many fronts, for an average healthcare stakeholder, whether it's a physician or a patient or somebody on the management side of a hospital, there are a lot of kind of questions and myths about the transformation that is happening, as well as sometimes lack of deep understanding around the National Health Authority's vision. I have personally been very fortunate to hear from Dr. Ruchira in the past around what the National Health Authority is doing, how these changes are structured, and how they have been helping improve healthcare access in India. Uh, so, with that, I thought that this would be a wonderful opportunity for us as a part of this event to hear firsthand from Dr. Ruchira about the transformation on the ground. To introduce Dr. Ruchira, she's the head of monitoring, evaluation, and capacity building at National Health Authority, which falls under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, India. With extensive experience in public policy, program evaluation, and knowledge management, she had led initiatives in curriculum design, training strategies, and capacity gap assessments. Uh, with a very rich experience working with the government of India on some of these policy initiatives, I welcome Dr. Ruchira as a part of this event to address our audience and enlighten us on the changes happening in India.
Thank you, Saurabh. And it's indeed an honor to be part of this summit, the Research and Health Innovation Summit. And as Dr. Purab said, I'll be talking about the Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission, India's foray into turning our healthcare or digitizing our healthcare and ensuring that healthcare is available for all. So as we go through, I'll take you through what we are thinking, and yes, I would like to listen to all of you as we go ahead on what you think the government should be doing more. So, as first, when I talk about digitizing healthcare, the first thing that comes into mind is how that change has happened across other sectors. And one of the key sectors where we can see this change has been the financial sector. And all of us have been a part of this change. So, if you remember, if I talk about 5 years from today, cash was the currency that all of us were using every day, every time. And today, if you go anywhere, it's a cashless market. You go to a sabzi wala, you go to any vendor, you go anywhere in the country, UPI, GPay, WhatsApp Pay, all are so common that every citizen of the country, whether we are old, whether young, or and while being secure, can we still ensure that we can share it across various ecosystems? So, similar problems we could see in the healthcare system. The processes are manual. Today, if you remember, or if you see, when we go to a doctor or when we go to a hospital, most of us have all our papers with us. We have a huge file with us which we carry, especially the older generation. The younger generation is a little bit more savvy. They do have uh, the online records, but still we tend to rely more on physical records. Why? One, we are not very comfortable sharing them digitally. uh, where to store them digitally, how to access them digitally, and again, how to share them digitally. So, those are questions that we needed to address and to ensure that we are sharing them with verifiable entities. So, around this background, the government launched the ABD or the Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission, wherein we wanted to ensure that all stakeholders that are there in the system, they are verified and they can be trusted. Health records can be digitized and accessed and exchanged. So this is how this is an ecosystem that we envisage to build, and we have already started building. And I think at least 50% of the work is already done from our end. So I'm sure a lot of you must have heard about the Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission. I'll just give you a small background. I have not kept it here on slide. That the Ayushman Bharat mission per se, when we talk about, is an umbrella scheme which has 4 schemes of healthcare under it. ABDM, or the Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission, being one of them. We also have the Ayushman Bharat PMJY, the largest health insurance in the world. We have the Ayushman Bharat Arogya Mandirs, the primary health centers, and we have Abhim, that is the Ayushman Bharat Infrastructure Mission. So the basic idea was that through these Ayushman Bharat schemes, we need to build a healthcare ecosystem that caters to all types of diseases that we are talking about: preventive, secondary, tertiary, and ensure that these are all interoperable digits, and ensuring that infrastructure is being built through Abhim. So all the aspects of healthcare are being addressed through this Ayushman Bharat scheme, or the umbrella. The digital mission is focused on creating a digital health ecosystem for this country, and the work started much before, as we sit today, around 8 to 10 years before, when it was actually thought of in the national health policy, as in how this, because we knew digital was the way forward. So how this digitization has to be taken forward, and built on the national health policy, the national health stack was built, and then the national health blueprint. So this blueprint is the basic framework that gave us the implementation guidelines on which the ABDM was finally launched as a pilot in 2020, and then over a period of these 5 years. Today we are completing 3 full years and 5 years since the pilot was launched. So currently the scheme is operational across the country, across all 36 states of the country. And like I said before, ABDM is looking to create an inclusive, affordable digital health infrastructure. And so when I talk about ABDM as a scheme, what exactly are we doing? We are just creating an infrastructure through which healthcare services are getting digitized. That makes us very, very different from other healthcare schemes which have much more tangible benefits. Like PMJY, when I talk about the Ayushman Bharat uh, health insurance scheme, very specific benefit that you get a 5 lakh health insurance cover and you can take benefit of it. But when I talk about ABDM, ABDM is a health infrastructure through which citizens can use this infrastructure for accessing health services, for storing health records, for sharing of health. So that is the overall, it is just, I would say, a system of different portals. So it is quite intangible, and it is just systems that are being built through which people can access and use healthcare. And it is for everybody. It is not an eligibility based scheme. In general, the government schemes are built for specific people. It is like I said, I compare it to the financial revolution that happened. Anybody, everybody can be on it. You want to use to share, or you want to pay through Google Pay, you want to pay through any kind of structures, you can use that, and nobody can tell you to use it, or it is completely voluntary. Similarly, in Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission, it has been designed as a voluntary scheme. So whether you want to use the digital systems to create your health records, you want to share your records using these digital platforms. You want to save your records, you want to access healthcare services, it is up to you. But the idea of where we want to come in is to ensure that all these services are provided to you and you have the option of taking these services. That is where the government comes in. And we have ensured that privacy and security is an integral part of all the infrastructure of the portals that are being built. I will be talking about little bit about the infrastructure that we have built. Again, like I said, everybody is included. There is no eligibility criteria here. Every citizen of this country can be a part of the digital mission. Voluntary, you want to opt in, to opt out at any point of time, you can opt in, any point of time, you can opt out. And very, very important, when we talk about health programs, generally, we tend to think about patients. We tend to think, okay, when I'll fall ill, then I'll think about it. So ABDM is more about wellness. Today, the concept of health is not just when you fall ill, but it is about ensuring preventive care also. And ABDM can help you a lot therein. We'll talk about that on how you can build your longitudinal records, how you can have your medical history, which can help you in tracking your wellness also. Far as for all this purpose, the technology that we built was we wanted to ensure that there is a single source of truth. Today, that is something that is quite lacking. If I want to see, if I want to find a doctor, if I want to find a facility, I go to the website or I ask somebody through word of mouth, or if I have been to somewhere before, only that is the only way through which I can find. But there is no way of knowing whether that facility or that person is actually verified. So again, we wanted to build something that could act as a single source of truth, that the government has verified and we can vouch for it. Again, very, very important when I talk about health was that health data is sensitive personal data, and we do not want to share it. And we do not, if we share it with somebody, it should be in my control, even when I'm sharing it, with whom I want to share it, for how long I want to share it. So that was the idea on which the federated architecture was built for the ABDM portals, wherein we say the data is stored where it is created. So as NHA staying in Delhi, I do not have access to any data that is being created across the country in the various medical facilities. It stays there only. I am only providing a platform for the access, and I'm providing the pipelines for sharing and interoperability. That is all that we are doing, the open APIs and interoperability, and ensuring that this whole system is very, very secure by design. And yes, one thing very important was that in order to have interoperability, we needed standard frameworks. So we needed some engines that could standardize that, and being one of the largest players in the market. So that is something that we have started building, or we have built our frameworks through which we can standardize overall systems, and we can ensure that various systems can talk to each other through these frameworks. So that is the technology that we are building through ABDM. Again, why ABDM? How it will help us? As a patient, it will give me better control over my health. I have my health records in my phone, it can be on my laptop, I can access them anywhere. I don't need to print them out. I can have them for a long term period. Today, generally, when I'm doing these sessions, my first question is, can you share with me your blood reports 5 years ago? I don't know how many of you can do that currently. If I ask you right now, can you share with me your, I'm sure we all did our general blood reports or blood counts. How many of you have them currently? Uh, if you ask me, probably it'll take me some time. They must be somewhere. They are there in some almirah, in some folder, but can I find them in 5 minutes time? I don't think I can do that. unless, yes, if I'm ill, then I have all my records with me there in a booklet. But otherwise, especially when we are healthy, we tend to ignore all these things. So as a citizen, it helps me in creating these kind of healthcare planning records. For healthcare providers, yes, as doctors, all the data of morbidities, comorbidities, previous treatments will always help you in better clinical decision making, which is at times, quite a lot of times, lost or is dependent on the memory of the patient. So it will help us in better clinical decision making. Again, we will have better records. And yes, going forward, precision medicine is the way forward. And these digital records that will be created will help us there tremendously. And from the point of view of the government, we are looking at monitoring and surveillance, how we can improve that, how we can make more targeted public health systems, can ensure that anybody who's left behind is not being left behind. So, healthcare equity. And yes, going forward, how we can do better epidemiological research and policy development with all the data that will be digitized going forward. So, the benefits are there for all stakeholders going forward. And but these benefits accrue once we start the system. From the NHA perspective, NHA has done just three things. We have just built these three portals that you can see here. The Unified Health Interface, it is basically a pipeline through which we connect various apps, through which we connect various different websites, you can say, to ensure that interoperability of services are there. So whether consultants can talk to a diagnostic center, telemedicine, we can book appointments, blood banks. So, all those things, ambulance services, which we are now developing. So, how can we do that? That is wherein the unified health interface comes in. That is the backend NHA has built on this unified health interface. Anybody can build apps to provide various health services. Once we've built this interface, very important was to ensure that whatever is being put on this interface is secure and the sharing is completely secure and consent based. So for that, we put in a consent manager, which is known as HIECM. So that is, again, all these are just systems which are working on the back end. This HICM ensures that whenever you put in any health data, that is secure. It will ask you for passwords, it will ask you for OTPs. If you want data, it will again ask you whom you want to share it with, how long you want to share it with that person. So all those kind of systems have been inbuilt through the HIECM. And another pain point that was highlighted to us when we were building these digital systems was health insurance claims. Major pain point for all patients, such a long process which is time taking, and a process which is not at all standardized. You have, every insurance company has their own set of formats for application. But if you are discharged and applying for an health insurance claim in itself is a process for a week. So the idea was, can we build a national health claims exchange? And I'm very happy to share that this has been built, and with IRDAI and almost 10 health insurance major insurers are already on this exchange, and PMJY is also on this exchange. So what we want here is that reimbursements should be fast and they should be standardized, similar forms, because the data being asked is similar whether you are going to any health insurance firm. So why can't we have similar forms? The engines be similar? Why does everybody have to use different engines and different processing platforms? So that is wherein NHS stepped in and built the National Health Claims Exchange, which is now being used by almost all health insurance companies. So this is what ABDM is in a nutshell. These are what portals that we have built, and in all these portals we had to build a few registries, because ultimately the portals are being used by people. And for that we have built three small registries, or three core building blocks that we say. And the first is the citizen registry, which is known as the Abha card or the Abha number. So Abha is basically what? Abha is just a health record identifier to you. It is like your Aadhaar number. Yes, Aadhaar is your citizen number. Abha is your number for as a health identifier. This is the number that will act as your identity across all healthcare systems. That is how we envisage. Today, if you are in Delhi, if you are going to one hospital in Medanta, tomorrow, if you go to AIMS, third day, if you go to Fortis, fourth day, if you go to a CGHS primary health center, the same number should work, and there should be interoperability, as in putting in this number, I should be able, or the doctor should be able to see all your health records across the various hospitals. That is the thought process behind having a single citizen registry. Again, anybody can go. You can go to our abha.com on our website, or on the NHA website, and create your Abha number. It's a very, very small, you just need your number, telephone number to create your Abha number. That is all that you need. And it just gives you an identity. It is just a number. We are not storing anything. We are not storing any information. It is up to you whether you want to use this number going forward or not. It is completely in your control. You can use this number to store health records through various PHR apps that are being built. NHA has also an Abha app. You can use the NHA Abha app. The health lockers are integrated with these apps. You can store your records if you want. And like I said, you can share your records also by giving consent. So the basic background of creating a health system was to ensure you need an identity that is same across various systems. And that is what Abha gives to each of the citizens. It creates your health identity. And I hope that all of you have created your Abha number. If not, I will request all of you to go back and create your Abha numbers immediately after this session. And in case there is an issue, please feel free to contact me anytime. After, I think I've already touched upon this, like how Abha is going to help. And this is from the government perspective, that we were saying that we have multiple programs in the government also. And today, when if I want to see a person, how many health programs that person is registered in, I have to look at the person's name, the date of birth. I need at least 4 or 5 identifier fields to deduplicate that. If I have an Abha number, that is the only number that I need, if it is being used across all programs, to see where and how many times that patient has accessed various systems or the various schemes. So that is the idea that behind having a single number, identity number for health. I'm very happy to say almost all the NHM programs slowly are now have started using Abha as an identifier, and we are able to see and deduplicate a lot of patients across the various schemes in the government. And yes, we've already talked about this, that how longitudinal records will help us in the long run, both from the point of view of the citizens as well as from the point of view of the government and the health professionals. After the Abha was focused on citizens, and we are talking about a health ecosystem. And if you're talking about a health ecosystem, there is no ecosystem without the doctors or the health professionals. And that is why very, very important of ABDM is the health professional registry, wherein we just want to build, maybe you can say, a list of all the professionals that are available in the country, through which people can find verified doctors. And the idea is that I should be able to go on a website. There should be some place where I can go, I can search for the doctor, maybe through his specialty, through area, and be assured that whatever is written on a particular website or on that link is true. And that is where the government comes in, because when a doctor registers for its HPR, the profiles are verified through their facilities as well as through the councils, the health councils. Their certificates are verified, so that once that the name of the doctor is there, the responsibility, the onus of assuring the verification is with us. So that was one of the key benefits, that we wanted health professionals to be there. And this is for all health professionals. Doctors are there, nurses are there, allied health professionals across all systems of medicine. The doctors can be there. And we wanted to create doctors who are digital. Telemedicine going forward will be, in COVID, we saw the how telemedicine can be used. And yes, in order to use telemedicine again, one, the doctor itself has to be digitized. He has to be on a platform, a digital platform. And yet, from the point of view of the patient, I have to be able to trust that doctor and be very sure that he is a health professional. And the other benefits that will accrue going forward is, again, once you have a professional ID, a single ID which can be used across different portals. So the national medical councils are also now using the HPR for renewal of licenses. You can issue no objection certificates. Medical certificates will become verifiable through these HPR IDs. So that is going forward, how the benefits will accrue as we go forward. And after the doctors, very, very important is an ID to be given to the facilities. So again, a lot of places, there are clinical establishment acts, a lot of states don't have them. So again, the idea was, can we have a singular registry there in the country? And for that, the health facility registry has been built by NHA, wherein all facilities, whether they are public or private, are being registered onto this facility. And again, this makes them easily discoverable. This also ensures that all the licenses and registrations are being followed. And yes, medical tourism is going to be big, and it is already big. And if you are a registered facility, you will be there on the medical tourism map of the country also as a verified registry, and you can attract different patients from other countries also. So ultimately, it is around these three things that we are working on. And if I show you the statistics as of today, yes, we are proud to say we've covered almost 50% of the country already has Aabhas that have been created. Health facilities, we still feel we have a long way to go. Only 4.22 lakh facilities, and professionals, yes, only 6.96 lakhs. Records being linked and shared are 71 crores. And yes, slowly the system is picking up. If we see from the point of view of NHA, we have readied the infrastructure. Now, once this infrastructure is ready, now it is up to all of you, to all the citizens, to the health professionals, the facility managers, to adopt this system, to come onto this system and reap benefits from this system. So that is the change. That is what NHA is now working on, is on the adoption part. And this is where these initiatives come in, on ensuring how we can ensure that adoption can be made easier. So we are working with various facilities to give them a light HMIS in order to create electronic health records easily. Scan and Share is one facility wherein we realized in hospitals, getting an OPD token was a major problem. So through Aabha numbers, if you have a Aabha number, you can simply have a QR. We have put QR codes through which you can scan the QR code and get an OPD token created. So these are the different small initiatives NHA has been taken to facilitate patients, to facilitate facilities in order to adopt ABDM. Again, we are also giving incentives to hospitals for not creation of Aabha now, for sharing of records and interoperability of records. So those kind of incentives are also being given on a per record basis. And yes, how we can do scan and pay is the latest initiative that we are working on. Can we use QR codes like we use uh, WhatsApp Pay or like we use Google Pay to pay for our diagnostics? So that is something that we are also building into the Abha app today. So small initiatives just to ensure that adoption of ABDM is taken off, yes, and on the feedback that we get from the various facilities, from citizens, as well as from doctors. So voice to text is one thing that we had a request from almost all doctors, that it is very difficult to type the health records or to type in once you are talking to the patient. So why can't the system listen and type? So these are pilots that we are running. There is a lot of a lot of understanding that the systems have to do, but we are still working on it. But yes, we it is reaching where we want to reach. Again, like I said, various health portals and schemes have started adopting Abha. Niksha has already adopted Abha. NHM, RCH has adopted Abha. So we are wanting that going forward, almost government has more than 150 200 health schemes which are running, and we want all of them to adopt Abha. Again, medical certificates, if they can be issued through the HPR IDs, that is something that the medical councils have now agreed to. And yes, if we can scan and share the records also, how that can be done. All these are initiatives that NHA is working on, and probably in the next 2-3 months you will see it. So I will just pause here. This is my last slide on how we want the digital health ecosystem to look like for a citizen. How we want that he should not maybe have minimum time, minimum cost, and minimum effort. He should be able to avail the services across the various systems. So thank you, everyone, and I'll be very happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Dr. Agrawal, for your enlightening talk. Any questions, participants, if you have? We have 5 minutes or so. We can cover it. We have a
Okay,
question. If you see, yeah. What do
I
you
can
see as the biggest
see.
challenge?
Yeah. So I think from the point of view of them, the biggest challenge is behavioral. Like we said, we have built the tech, but the adoption of this tech, building trust into the people to adopt this tech, and yes, building capacities. That is something that NHA is constantly working on. We are trying to ensure, we are trying to get across this message to the people on how to use this technology, how privacy has been inbuilt into it. And yes, change is always difficult. When we started with the change of from cash to using our scanning codes for paying money, it was a difficult change. I think COVID was one thing that ensured that it may pushed us into it, but otherwise this change was very, very slow. So yes, that is where we are now trying to address these challenges, as in ensuring how people can adopt this, and again, to- also to build systems that are easy to use, because we understand that the doctors, the facilities are already overburdened, and we don't want to increase their work. So the systems that we are building, we are trying to make them very, very user friendly and easy to use.
Yes, completely agree. Change is never easy, and NHA has taken steps to bring transformative reforms. So I think with that, thank you everyone for joining, and we had a wonderful session on how learn the perspectives of how NHA is shaping the future of healthcare in India, and hope to talk to some of you soon regarding this.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Dr. Rajira, bye bye.